Have you ever in your life felt stuck? Really stuck? I mean, maybe stuck in a resentment, or maybe a fear, or maybe even a failure. When I was praying over the readings for this Mass, I was struck by the Spirit scrutinizes in our second reading. The Spirit searches the hearts of every single person, breathes new life, maybe, into where we are most stuck. Resentments, fears, failures. I wonder if it was that kind of stuckness that Jesus was talking about and telling us not to be like the scribes and the Pharisees. You know, the scribes and the Pharisees, as you may know, were the religious professionals of the day. This always kind of embarrasses me. But you know, they were so much into law, and Jesus was asking them to get out of their stuckness into something more life-giving and more freeing. But you and I know that unless sometime through life you fail, or your heart gets broken, or you fall in love, or even sin, or sometimes fall on your face, or have to deal with some kind of grief in your life, your heart doesn't get strong enough to get unstuck until you give it over to the grace of the Spirit, who moves and searches our hearts and knows who we really are. You know, I work now in a palliative care hospital, 235 beds, and people sometimes ask me, you know, that must be really depressing. And it really isn't. I find it very life-giving, because at that stage of your life, at the end of your life, things get very real very, very quickly. And one of the things I guess you learn through it all is that not everything on this side of life gets resolved, and that's okay. The important thing is not to get stuck. It's those times of forgiveness, those words of encouragement, those times when maybe we have to say, I have to let go of this in order that my life can be free. I watch sometimes husbands feed their wives, or wives feed their husbands at the very last days of their life until they don't want to be fed anymore. And I always ask them, when did you first meet? And then they start talking about their love, and they embrace each other and feel each other's face, and eyes get bright when they talk about the history of their love and how things got so unstuck for them that they come to this point in their life to give themselves over so freely to each other. So maybe that's the Spirit in these days. Wherever it is in life that you might get stuck, or I might get stuck, you know, to really trust the freedom of the Spirit, who knows our hearts and helps us, and don't get too down about getting stuck. Just allow the Spirit to free you and to free me.